Hi everyone, so today I'll be doing my empties for the month of January. Like always, I'll have these separated into categories in case you're only interested in certain items. I'm going to try to do this very quickly because the sun is going down. So anyways, like always, I have a bunch of sheet masks for this month. I realized after I bought a ton of these that these aren't my favorite because of the texture. It's a little bit not as smooth as my other sheet masks and they weigh a little bit more, so they tend to slide off my face is what I'm trying to say. The good thing about it though is that there's a bunch of leftover essence that I use as body serum. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the brand Innisfree. I believe I got this at either TJ Maxx or Marshall's in a pack of 10 for $10 or maybe $8. So each one came out to $1 or a little bit under $1. Wouldn't purchase this, but I have a bunch of them that I need to get through. The expiration date is pretty far out in the future that I don't have to worry about it necessarily expiring within like the next 6 months or so. Okay, next one we have a cleansing oil that my sister and I really love. We used to get this at either Stylevana, Yes Style, or some other place, and it's the Hadolabo Gokujin cleansing oil. So this is the refill pack. I like that they offer refill packs if you already have the actual container. So you only need to buy the pump and stuff if yours breaks. This one, I really like it that it's lightweight. I feel like it emulsifies right away. It's not as thick as, let's say, what's that other one called? The Manio or like the Soft Emo. So this is my favorite one. I don't know if we can find it in like the US, but if the whole tariff situation gets sorted anytime soon, I will repurchase, but not anytime soon. So there's that one. Ooh, I have a lot of skincare this month. So I also finished up this rice serum. I got this on sale. I believe it was like $10 or so. And I have a feeling that they were changing up their packaging because this one still has the older like glass vessel. I really like the texture of this. I don't wear makeup, so I don't know how well that would go under makeup, but I do put on sunblock pretty much every day unless I forget or I'm not going outside. Where was I going with this? I really like that it leaves like a silky texture, and I didn't notice any pilling underneath my sunblock or my cream, like face cream in the morning. So this one I would repurchase. However, I didn't really notice any significant difference. And another thing that I liked about it, besides it being a pump form, is that you can also unscrew the pump bottle. I just really like that feature because you can get all the leftover essence. I mean, at a certain point, there's some way at the bottom that I can't get to, but this one I would repurchase if I saw it at TJ Maxx or Marshall's again. This one didn't have a safety seal, but maybe I'd still get it. One skincare product that I would not repurchase, this is from the brand, I believe it's called Numbuzin. If you know what, it's somewhere there. Oh, right here. Numbuzin number 3. This is a number 3 toner, super glowing essence. So I'm not sure exactly what ingredient. I'm assuming there's like ferment filtrates or like niacinamide or something, but this one was pretty thick, and I feel like despite it being thicker, it didn't really hydrate or moisturize my skin. I think I got it for like, yeah, $7.50. This was probably during a yellow tag sale. Again, wouldn't purchase this. I have tried, I believe, a serum or an ampule from the brand, and I also wouldn't purchase it. So yeah, this one's just a one and done situation. A skincare accessory kind of, we have some cotton pads from the brand Claire's. This is their Dear Claire's toner matte 2-in-1 cotton pad, 120 each. So the problem with this is that I really love one style of their cotton pads. It's 2-in-1 because there's 60 of a thinner, softer cotton pad, and there's 60 of like the thicker one that I like. The problem is I can't just buy the thicker one. I have to use the thin one as well. The thin one is really good if you want to do like a DIY sheet mask. However, my problem is that I have way too many sheet masks. I have like an overabundance of sheet masks, and I just need to stop purchasing. Although I low-key purchased something yesterday because it was on sale. Story of my life. So this one, if they were to sell the thicker one, I would definitely purchase that one. But the thinner one, I feel like even like 1 or 2 drops and it's already fully saturated. And I just don't like putting on a very soft or thin cotton pad on my face. I like something a little bit thicker, but not so thick that I feel like it's absorbing all of my toner or essence. So there's that. Okay, next, I believe, oh, this is kind of skincare, lip care, I guess. So my sister got this as a freebie sample from either Sephora or Ulta. It's from the brand Tarte. I believe it's called Maracuja Lip Plumper. Okay, so this one had a consistency of a very buttery lipstick. It's gonna look super gunky. But if you can see right there, there's like no more I can pop out. The problem with this one is that this melted in my bag right away, and I don't even keep my bag in my car for that long. Also, another problem that I have that it might be a positive for some people is that it smells like sunblock, sunscreen, coconut, banana, like that type of summer smell. And I personally really dislike the scent. As far as what it did for my lips, I did feel like they were hydrating, they weren't super sticky. And this was a lip plumper that isn't like those lip plumpers with cinnamon in it that really stings your skin and leaves it feeling kind of like if you have like chili pepper powder on your lips. This is more of like of a cooling feeling. So, I mean, were they any bigger? Not necessarily. And this one was free, so I wouldn't repurchase it. And I think it's also pretty expensive. But yeah, it was okay. It was cute on the go. All right, now moving on to body care. Let's start off with some small businesses. So this one was from the brand Pixie Spell Essentials on Etsy. I believe that when I ordered this maybe like 2 years or so ago, the owner, I think her name is Marie as well, she would include free samples, and this one was the La Boulangerie. I'm probably butchering that, but it's like a bready scent, and I really enjoy this. I have this also in a perfume spray. It doesn't really remind me like the inside of the bread, but more of like the crunchy baked outside. So this one lasts a fairly decent amount of time on my skin. I would say it lasts like 4 to 6 hours, and I didn't have a lot, clearly. I mean, this is a pretty small sample size, and I felt like I did a good job. The perfume spray as well, it lasts about like 4 to 6 hours. I don't spray it directly on my skin. I spray it on my clothing, and I think it did a good job at like giving myself a very nice scent bubble projection. I'm not too sure how that went, just because I feel like I work kind of very like far away from someone else, and when I have this and my sister's right next to me, I tend to put over my sweater because I get pretty cold. That's all to say, I would repurchase this. However, not anytime soon because I'm really trying to dwindle down my small business like hygiene body care items. All right, another small business. This is from the brand Wearable Gourmand in Strawberry Milkshake. This was the sample size. I believe that the owner, Diana, still has these sample sizes on the website. Strawberry Milkshake, this one was really good. I think my sister complimented me like once or twice on it. I would layer this with strawberry pound cake from Bath and Body Works. I believe I would also layer it with cotton candy clouds and just other strawberry fragrances in my collection. These small businesses did a really good job at having products with a good shelf life. We all know that the body creams from Bath and Body Works tend to go off. This one was decently strong. However, I found when I sprayed this on my clothing, it only lasted like 4 hours or so. So it didn't last all day. But then again, I wasn't like, well, actually, I was spraying a pretty decent amount. I would say like 4 to 6 sprays. So this one I would repurchase, but again, not anytime soon because I'm really trying to finish up what I have. Another body care product that I was really happy to finish, and I wanted to get it done in 2025, but 2026 is fine as well. We have this Jumbo 32 fluid ounce shower gel, bubble bath, and what else? Shampoo. I don't know. It's like a 3-in-1 combo from the brand Philosophy. This is pink frosted animal crackers. So this one in store didn't have one that I could smell. However, I was under the impression that a lot of people loved this fragrance, but I have the same issue with a lot of Philosophy Gourmand fragrances that I do with Dove. And that is that I can smell the underlying like soapy base formula. You do get this nice like vanilla, ooh, so it's acting like a microphone, this nice vanilla pastry, but I do smell something like that I would assume would be like a surfactant or that causes the bubbles, or it just smells like a soap or like a shower gel, if you catch what I'm saying. So this one, while it is okay, I would not repurchase it. I mainly used it as a shampoo. I didn't have any issues, but again, I used it for my first cleanse. So I used this one, rinsed it out, and then went in with my like good shampoo. But no issues when I use this by itself. As far as the consistency, I do like that it's a little bit on the thicker side. So just a little bit goes a long way. So this is a really eco price, especially if you buy it for a sale price. I believe that they retail at TJ Maxx and Marshalls for $19.99, but I got this one for $13. I would normally only purchase it at $10 or less, but I really wanted to try this formula. I wouldn't repurchase this, but I would be open to trying other Philosophy products. Probably they're more fruity fragrances. Okay, I think that is it for body care. Let me go on to home fragrance. I'm going to try to do all the wax melt pieces together. So let me kind of just grab those. Okay, somehow for this month, I only used one tea light. I believe this is either my 6 to 7 hour tea light or my 8-hour tea light. So there's that one. Really like it. I think I get it from like not TJ Maxx. I get it from either Amazon or Walmart. But I have a feeling it's Amazon. So we have one from a wax melt from a small business called That Candle Place. I did some reviews on their candles, and I feel like if I had to choose between their wax melts or their candles, I'd probably choose their wax melts because their candles I didn't have the best experience, but then again, I don't know if anything has changed since I purchased. Blueberry cheesecake, I did write the fragrance notes. Blueberry, vanilla, graham cracker, spice, cream, and sugar. It's a very bright blueberry fragrance. It's not like a deep muddled blueberry. This one, I would say it is sweet, but it's also a little bit tart. I do pick up on hints of a spice note. Graham cracker, I wish it was a little bit amped up, but it's still a really nice scent. So this one, I would give it a medium with 2 cubes in my Julienne wax warmer. I believe that one was set on medium. This one doesn't really last all day, but I would have to say if you have it on high, it is a bit intense for like 3 or 4 hours. So I think this is suited for people who like to change out their wax. And when you do have your wax, it is intense for that amount of time. However, I'm someone who likes to change my wax either every day or like every 2 to 3 days. The only problem with that is sometimes with those wax melts or those fragrances, they're a lot more mellowed out throughout the duration versus this one. It's like a good punch of fragrance and then it's kind of over. So this one did okay in my medium-sized bedroom. I think I might repurchase that one. I just don't know because I think now the minimum free shipping is on orders 100, and I just don't know if I would have all that product to get the free shipping. Let's go on to another vendor wax. We have L3 Waxy Wonders before they were under new ownership. Pink Lemonade Pound Cake. This one I was so disappointed because it took me, I think I wrote or I marked, okay, I used all of this, and at this point I could smell it. I tried this in my Scentsy wax warmer. It didn't work. I tried it in my Julienne. I tried it in my hot plate. I tried it in my tea light warmer, my other tea light warmer. In my candle crock, and I realized that the only way I could smell this if I put it underneath my 50-watt candle lamp in like an empty candle jar. I have no idea why, but I feel like I wasted a lot of wax because it might be that the pink lemonade fragrance oil is just light in and of itself, because I have tried pink lemonade from other vendors and I just tend to find that that one just doesn't really I can't register it, or it's a light fragrance, one of those two. So this one, unfortunately, I would not repurchase, and I don't think scoops are for me. They tend to be a little bit messy. However, I did get a nice metal spoon out of this, so I will reuse that. Okay, we have a sample piece from Boots and Mascara. I believe that Angela rebranded it to Wix and Wander. She might be on a small break right now. So this is from the winter collection, Evergreen Serenity. Fir needles, eucalyptus with vanilla, cedar, rich mahogany, green balsam, juniper berries touched by lemon and lavender. So this one, it reminded me of a wintry tree fragrance, but like a masculine tree fragrance, almost like my dad's cologne. He wears Dior Sauvage. So it just reminded me of like a cologne scent, probably coming from the mahogany and also probably the cedar and the eucalyptus combo. But yeah, this one, I used all of it in my Julienne hot plate. On medium, I got a very light fragrance. So then when I switched it to high, I got a slightly stronger scent. So this one, I feel like I wouldn't repurchase it just because it was a little bit on the lighter side. But then again, this is more like a masculine scent. So those really aren't my fragrances, or aren't the fragrances that I normally go for. But there is Evergreen Serenity. Okay, I have a couple from that Smell Good shop. Yeah, that Smell Good shop. Let's see. Let's do this one first. So this one is Sugar Cookie, Honey Butter, Vanilla Smoothie, Beach Nights. This is a customer blend. You can see there, this weighs less than an ounce. So this one, I get all the fragrance notes. The least that I get on cold is Beach Nights, but I feel like that comes out the longer that I have this going for. I believe I put this in my Julienne hot plate. On medium, it was very light. No, it was a light medium. It was more of a background scent. But then when I switched it to high, I feel like I got more of the bread nuances. And I really liked that it filled my medium-sized bedroom. So I feel like with that Smell Good shop, I might just exclusively use them in my Julienne hot plate, because when I've tried them in my Scentsy warmer, they don't always perform. Yeah, I really like it. It's really buttery. I like the combination of the vanilla from the vanilla smoothie, as well as the vanilla from, I'm assuming, the Beach Nights, mixed in with the smooth butteriness from the honey butter. So this one, I don't know. It seemed more of a blender fragrance. So would I repurchase? Maybe. So one that I would not repurchase, we have that Smell Good shop in Channel Surfer. This is Cherry Cotton Candy. I think the reason why I didn't like it is that the cherry note leaned a little bit like artificial cherry syrup adjacent. However, you do get a lot of the cotton candy. Again, that could lean a bit artificial. So this was barely a medium with my Julienne hot plate warmer on medium. And then on high, I got a medium and it lasted about a day. However, this just wasn't really the scent that I wanted. I mean, it does smell sweet, but yeah, there's just something about this that smells a little bit like fake to me. So the next and the last one of that Smell Good shop, we have another customer blend, Cupcakes at Tiffany's, Toasty Mallow Zucchini Blue Ribbon Cookies. So this one, I want to say it was like less than half of the normal bag. Here, let me try to like grab it out. Yeah, I just didn't really get anything from this, and I have a feeling it's because it was just a bunch of like wax pieces, because it was as like a free sample. So I couldn't smell it. I don't know how good it is, and I can't smell anything from the bag. So this one, I wouldn't even repurchase it because, well, I don't know, maybe I would. You know what? Skip for now. So question mark on that one. Let's go on to candles. Let me go over my sister's because she has a lot of honorary mentions here. So for her Christmas present, let me kind of move this back a bit. I gave her some CBD candles from her favorite CBD candle brand called CandleBiz. We normally find them at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and maybe Home Goods. I've never seen them at Home Goods though. So it's been harder to find it, and I decided to get her a bigger size format for her tax season, because she tends to be more stressed out during the month of January. And lo and behold, she already finished it. So this is the 28-ounce 3-wick version, and it's 100% soy wax. So here it is how it looks like on the inside. So there is some soy wax cling on. Initially, there is a little bit of issues with this candle fully pulling out, but it didn't really get discolored. Towards the end, she did have this burning for like 8 hours at a time, which I don't think is recommended. Top notes are Meyer lemon, aloe water, orange blossom. Middle notes, juicy lychee, damask rose, pear nectar. Base notes, spun sugar, amber mist, and pink musk. So again, here's how it looks like on the inside. So this one, I think I might have recorded a candle review, but I don't think it'll be up by the time you see this Empties video. But this is a scent that she and I would repurchase. I believe this was the first scent of them that I've ever tried. The main notes that you get are this very dewy, watery rose. I think it's accented by that aloe and that added lemon note. Where was I going with this? The single wicks that you find at TJ Maxx or Marshalls do a kind of poor job at throwing the scent unless you get like this one that my sister tried. It was like a kind of masculine cologne scent, but pretty much all the other ones have been very, very light. This one was a solid, I would say like a solid medium in her smaller workspace. She did use this in a hurricane to amp up the scent and also to help with it pulling out quicker, just because her experience has been that the single wicks tend to tunnel. Where am I going with this? She would repurchase it, and she did find herself feeling more relaxed towards the end after she finished issuing 1099s and doing all that stuff. She almost got a little bit sleepy towards the end because she wasn't as stressed out or that overwhelmed. So this one, she said that she would repurchase only for the month of January, but otherwise she will stick to her single wicks. My sister finished up a Homeworks 4-wick candle in First Frost. So this one, she got it on sale from $14.99 to $7.50. Fragrance notes: sparkling cedar, Douglas fir, white moss, sparkling citrus, and chilled eucalyptus. Pour date of 2024. I did write her notes on the lid, so let me go ahead and tell you what she thought. For some reason, each time I smell this fragrance or I would go into her room, I would almost read this like lavender note, but no lavender note is listed, so maybe it's the eucalyptus. So she said that she would repurchase this one only if it was 50% off, so she wouldn't purchase it for $14.99 or definitely not $30 plus. So this one, she gave it a light medium, and in a hurricane there were no issues. There is some wax fallout right there, but then again, my sister doesn't have the best burning style. She tends to have these going for a lot longer than the recommended burn time. Oh, here's another Homeworks candle that she finished up. We found this one at either TJ Maxx or Marshall's, Trim the Tree. So this one, the fragrance notes are mulled spices, roasted apple, pine, brandied cranberry, blood orange. Pour date of 2025. So, oh, I guess it was Marshall's, $12.99. So this one, she said that she would only purchase it on sale. Strength and throw, light, definitely 5 out of 10. And the wick drifted for sure. So I kind of fixed it for her, but it was this wick that started drifting. So I would get a chopstick or the wick dipper, and like pushed it back into place. But otherwise, this drifted, I want to say, when it was about right here. So it was close to the end. Not the cleanest burn. It does look a little bit discolored, but I would definitely say that the strongest note that I got were the mulled spices, and I personally don't really like that. I think I realized that I don't really like apple ciders, or I guess mulled spices. And then next would be the apple. Is it a roasted apple? I think, yeah, well, I don't know. Right now, I just kind of smell like the wick residue that's in the wax. So yeah, this one I personally wouldn't repurchase, but I think my sister would only get this on if it was on like a 50% off sale. She did go through some woodwick candles. First one being vanilla bean. So honestly, I think she needs to stop burning it at this point, because if she gets below that, I feel like this gets really discolored. Like this was at one point a creamy white color. However, it only started smelling a little bit like smoky around right here. So I think if you were to stop burning it a little bit sooner, it'd be better. But she really loves these ellipse formats because the crackle is a bit louder. This one, she said she would repurchase. Strength and throw, she gave it a light medium, and she really liked that this almost like relaxed her. It was a very cozy fragrance, which is weird because she used to not like vanilla fragrances in the past. This one, I don't know if I personally would get it, but I know she would repurchase it. All right, next honorary mention that my sister finished up. We have this large tumbler from the brand Woodwick. This is in the scent cinnamon chai. So this one does give her issues, and I feel like even the smaller medium size. So right around like right here after you reach that like concave part, I guess, it has issues pulling out. So she did have to borrow my slimmer, taller Hurricane, and that did help quite a bit. So this one, if you can see, there is a bunch of Klingon wax around the sides because of the issues of it not fully pulling out and needing a Hurricane. She didn't wipe it or anything, so it does look a little bit discolored. I have a feeling that these produce less soot than the boat ones. However, since this one, the shape is kind of like open, it doesn't really trap the soot. It kind of just goes out. However, my sister finds that these are really hard to finish up, especially if you don't like the scent. So cinnamon chai, she says it's an okay scent, but I feel like the burn time, if I remember from the website, it's like 100 to 120 hours. So I would only recommend buying the large format if you really love the fragrance and you want to commit to that. Or this is going to be a candle that you bring out for like 2 or 3 years. But she's the type of person that likes to start a candle and then burn it until it's completely done to then start the next one. So this one, she wouldn't repurchase it, but I think that she would opt to buy this in in an ellipse format. As far as how the scent goes, it does read a little bit like Michael's Craft Store, but it also has a bit of a sugary scent as well that almost reminds me of hot tamales. I think she said that as well. This was good to blend with other fragrances during the fall, like other pumpkin, chocolate, just like any other cozy scents. Okay, going on to the candles that I finished up finally. So we have one from Kringle. I feel so accomplished finishing up one of these 2-wick tumblers. Reserve candle and jelly donut. Raspberry, blackberry, pastry, fruit, citrus, butter, vanilla. Pour date in 2024. So unpopular opinion, I personally don't feel like this is well, okay. I feel like this jelly donut fragrance is nice, but it's not my perfect jelly donut fragrance because I feel like the pastry note is off. I feel like it doesn't mimic like fried dough. This reminds me more of like bread. So also when I think about this fragrance, it reminds me when, like, let's say you're on a diet and you want a donut and you go, I really want like Dunkin' Donuts or like California Donuts, something like greasy, more like a fast food donut. And you're like, let me try this like healthier alternative at like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's. This is what it kind of reminds me of. And I think it's only because of that pastry note, or I'm missing the donut scent. However, I have a feeling that it might just be how Kringle does their donut fragrances. I think my dog's barking. And it's because I also don't enjoy their apple cider donut because, again, I feel like it doesn't really smell like a donut. Also, low key, the donut scent in that candle is a bit low. But as far as the jelly aspect, I mean, like, yeah, it's okay. This one, the wax, it's kind of hard to see though. It did turn a little bit of like a darker color, but I feel like it's because of that heavy, like, vanilla bakery in here. So this one is a one and done fragrance because my, I guess, perfect jelly donut comes from Bath and Body Works. I really like their Happy Hanukkah circa 2023. They have other fragrances that are very similar, like mixed berry crumble, wild berry jam donut. Yeah, just other fragrances from Bath and Body Works. I'd much prefer that one over this one. However, the only thing is that this one performs extremely well. I have a dedicated review if you're interested. This is a solid 8 out of 10. So if I were to purchase this, it'd be for my sister, and I would probably give her or gift her the 4-wick option. Next candle that I finished up was this Yankee candle in the paraffin format in the Sunberry Trifle. This one I got it at Ross for $11.99. So any fragrance notes? I don't think so. This is the 22 ounce from 2024. So this one I burned it. I want to say it was up till right here, and I was getting like a 1 out of 10. So I had this in like Hurricane Inception. I had it in my tall, skinny Hurricane, in my larger Hurricane, and with an Illuma lid, and I was getting nothing. So I figured, okay, let me put this underneath my candle lamp. I did pour off some layers up until right here, and then I thought, you know what, YOLO, let me just put this in my candle crock. And I feel like it was stronger underneath my candle lamp just because that one's a 50 watt versus my candle crock, which is a 24 or 25 watt. Anyways, I had this going when I was burning jelly donut. I had this when I was burning like tree fragrances. And I think I also had this going just like, off and on. So this scent is okay. If I had to choose between this one and Homeworks' Berry Trifle, I like the one from Homeworks, how that smells on cold, because that one smells more lighter, fluffy. I think there's a meringue note in that one versus this one. It just smells like kind of muddled berries. Smells really good. I wish there was more of a vanilla fragrance, but heck, even if there was, I probably wouldn't be able to smell it. So this one, I don't know, maybe I'd get it in wax melts if it came back. Okay, going on to a candle that I picked up at Trader Joe's that I asked my sister if she can get this for me. This is in the scent Cedar Balsam. I have a dedicated review on this. It has very pretty mercury glass. So this one tunneled pretty horribly. I also put this in a candle crock, no, in a candle hurricane, and that somewhat helped. So I thought with the thicker glass, it would retain more heat and help it pulling out, but it didn't. Also, the wick curled, and you can tell which side it curled towards. So it went this way, and it did soot a little bit. Towards the end, I just wanted to get this over with, so I put it underneath my candle lamp, and it looks really pretty, like illuminating the little breaks in the faux mercury glass. As far as the scent itself, I just don't really care for it. This reminds me a little bit of Kringle candles, juniper, and laurel. It smells like almost like of a watery tree a little bit. I don't think there's any fragrance notes listed besides the cedar and the balsam, but to me, it almost smells a little bit like a pomander fragrance. So I'd venture off to say that there's like a citrus note in here. I don't know if it's lemon, probably orange though. Yeah, probably orange. So this is a one and done for me. I think I got this, or my sister got this for either $12.99 or $14.99, and for a single wick, that's just okay. I'd rather purchase like another candle, let's say from Bath and Body Works, or save up for like a Kringle. So there's that, one and done. Small businesses. Let's go on to one from an Etsy shop called Teresa Lynn's Simple Luxuries. This is in the scent Caramel Apple. It's a pretty simple, I think, single fragrance oil. It has, I think, green apple, red apple, and caramel. So this one, it isn't the caramel apple that's like super spicy. I actually don't get any spice notes from it. This was a half pint wooden wick. It did crackle, but it didn't give me that same effect that a wood wick does, because a wood wick, even their small X wick, tends to be pretty loud. This one, I don't know what type of sorcery or if it's just the fragrance oil, but this is really strong. This is like a 7 to an 8 out of 10, depending on burn, because it did fluctuate a little bit. But this little thing was able to scent up my medium-sized bedroom. And initially, when I got that, I think this was the first candle that I burned from Teresa Lynn's Simple Luxuries. So I thought, oh, all of her candles are going to perform good and were well. So I purchased a lot, and only this one performed. Long story short, and maybe like 6, 7 candles later, I figured that out. So unfortunately, this is the only candle that I would repurchase from Teresa. I tried her like watermelon candle, her fig candle, this like very cute unicorn type candle that was kind of like a ice cream scent, and only this one performed, is what I'm trying to say. So no issues here. And even when I was done burning it and it just wouldn't light anymore, and I put this in my candle crock, it performed for a solid like 2 to 3 days after. So something about this fragrance is like perfect. So yeah, I would repurchase that. I don't know if I will repurpose the jar because it's a little bit small, but there's that. Another small business that unfortunately I'm not going to purchase from anymore, we have Circa 1955. This is in the scent Mickey Waffles, and I did do a review. So I purchased a total of, I believe, 4 candles and 1 single wick. And all of the candles, this is the third one that I burned, they've just performed horribly in terms of how it looks like and the burn. So towards the, like after I did my review, I thought I am done with this candle because I was really babying it. I was soaking up wax. I was putting this in a hurricane. Sometimes the wick would self-extinguish. It was bubbling. There were black swirls in the wax that when I soaked it up with a cotton ball, it got slightly better, but then just the wick started to like slough off. It was like peeling. It was like a snake peeling its layers. Anyways, so I ended this in my bathroom. I could smell it. It was on the weaker side. I would say maybe like a 5 or 6 out of 10. I forgot what I gave it. I wish there was more of a baked waffle note. The syrup wasn't overly apparent, but this smelled more of like the waffle batter than anything. Yeah, I don't know why it looks like I have 4 wicks because I clearly, only have 3. But anyways, thankfully I didn't notice any instances of soot. But yeah, the performance of these candles are just really hit and miss, and the prices have gone up from like $31.99 or like $32 all the way up to $39.99 for a 3 wick. But I mean, shipping is included, but still like 40 bucks for this? I don't know. So there's that. All right, that is it for candles. Let me go on to kind of miscellaneous home fragrance. So we have this Poopery. This is in the larger format, $5.99 in sugared lemon zest. So this one was used in my sister's bathroom, and she really enjoys the citrus heavy Poopery fragrances. I feel like the original citrus performs better. I think because this one was sweeter, lighter, that's why it didn't do as well of a job as the original citrus. So I would personally go for ones that have a citrus note like a lemon, an orange, or even a grapefruit, but then have a floral mixed into it because I feel like the floral really helps with the strength of this. But yeah, did a pretty good job. We'll continue to repurchase. I'm going to ask my sister if she wants to reuse this container. We got that at Marshall's and we'll continue to purchase from there. However, I have a feeling that the prices might have gone up. In terms of car diffusers or car scents, we have one from Little Trees. I believe this is in the scent Pumpkin Spice. This one didn't last too long. Yeah, it just kind of smelled like a baked pumpkin scent, and I think I realized that pumpkin scents aren't for me. So this one, I would normally kind of like rip it up to kind of release more of the fragrance, or you can like respray this with, let's say, a room spray. But I was kind of done with this scent. I've had better luck with the cotton candy Little Tree fragrances, so I'd probably stick to that one. I wouldn't repurchase this one. Next car scent that I got, this came from Costco in a value pack. And I think there was maybe a coupon, but this is in vanilla cupcake, and this was a waste of time because I put it on, I want to say like over 2 months ago, and even on day one, it was doing nothing. And I thought, oh no, so I would really have to like shake this little thing and put it up to my nose because otherwise I couldn't smell it. And when I do smell it, it just smells like a very cloying, artificial vanilla. Yeah, this is not the scent that I like. So this one, I wouldn't repurchase it. And I think I'm going to stay away from these car jars from Yankee. I think it's better just to get the paper ones. Would not repurchase, wouldn't recommend it. Then again, I did purchase another value pack, but vanilla cupcake isn't in the mix. One car scent that I find that does work, this is from the brand, I think it's called C&E. This is in Pine Forest. I got this for 50% off during the after Christmas sale last year. And I think this wasn't supposed to be 50% off, but I told the lady, I'm like, hey, this is clearly Christmas. So she manually marked it down. I don't see car fragrances as often as I did maybe like 4 months or so ago. But the problem with those car scents I find, because I've tried like 2 or 3, is that the fragrance oils smell a little bit cheap. Like this one, it says Pine Forest, and it honestly kind of smells like pine sol. And I rarely get that from tree fragrances. There's like a strong alcohol note, or maybe it's like very astringent, but it's not a pine scent that has a lot of like a cedar note. There's not a lot of complexity. It's just kind of like cleaner pine fragrance. But this one did a good job at throwing the scent. Again, with these, you need to be careful because if you tip this too much, it will leak and ruin your like dashboard, upholstery area. So I would only recommend this if you're really careful. Also, another thing is that I'm from California, so these technically aren't allowed, but you would only get pulled over if you get a cop that's, I don't know, like a jerk or something, or, trying to give you a hard time. But yeah, this one, also another thing is that it's kind of like a tough glass or glass adjacent material. So when you go through a bump, this could kind of go really fast. And I've seen someone online that said it cracked their window glass area. So just be careful if you do get this and you're going through a bumpy area. So yeah, that is everything that I finished up in the month of January. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.